and welcome. Today we are going to do some pork. I'm going to show you how to cold pack meat. Now you can use this for any kind of meat. You can use it for chicken, beef, pork, deer, venison, bear, you name it. Any kind of meat can be done this way. And the only difference is instead of it being in a broth, it makes its own broth. So if you want to make a meal that has more of a shredded type meat, like this is good for carnitas, tamales. You can use this for tacos. You can also use this for barbecued sandwich. You know, anything that has a shredded meat. This is the method that is preferred for me. This is what I like to use. I'm gonna make this spicy, but you can also do just plain old salt in any of these meats and then spice it up when you open up the jar and cook your meal. So either way is just fine. But this method works with all meats. So for pints, I have to pressure can this for 75 minutes for pints. And at my altitude, which is just over 2,000 feet, it is around 12 pounds. So make sure you check for your altitude and what you have to pressure can for. If you're doing quarts, it would be 90 minutes at the poundage for your altitude. So make sure you check on that, but that is for my altitude. All right, everyone, let's get started. If you like my videos and would like to see more, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That helps with the algorithm so more people can see my video and it'll come up and populate. So let's get started. Okay, I have here 2 pork loins. They're about 14 pounds altogether. So hopefully it'll make 16 jars because there's about a pound of pork in every jar. I have some adobe peppers. I'm going to put one of these in each jar. Chipotle peppers, yum, yum, yum. And then I got my jars, they're all cleaned and they're room temperature and ready to go. So I'm going to be doing a raw pack so I don't pre-cook. I'm going to throw everything in the jars and cook it in the canner. Let's get started. I got my jars all full and I've debubbled with my handy dandy chopstick, which I love. So now what I'm going to do is put the chipotle peppers in. I'm going to put 1 per jar in. There you go, like that. And then I'm also going to put in half a teaspoon of bouillon. This is the Knorr tomato bouillon with chicken flavor. So it's going to give it a really good flavor. And to that, I'm also going to add a clove of garlic. So this is what they're going to look like. And I'm going to raw pack them. Now that I've got my pork and my chipotle peppers and garlic and seasoning in there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wash the rim of the jar really well. Make sure you get everything off. Make sure there's no chips, no nicks. That could cause a seal fail. You're going to want to make sure you have a 1-inch headspace, which I do, nice healthy 1-inch headspace. We're going to go ahead and put the lids and the rims on and we're going to stick it in the canner. I got my first 8 pints all canned up in the canner, ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put the tray in and then I'm going to do the next 8. You can stack them in a pressure canner. So I'm going to go ahead and do 16 jars of these pork. And there's the second 8 pints in the canner. One thing I did want to mention, that my pork loin was left on the counter for about an hour so it would come down to where it wasn't so cold. I do not want to thermoshock my jars, putting cold jars into a hot canner. My canner is warm, but it is not boiling hot. So I've got it on low just to kind of keep it warm. I'm going to go ahead and crank it up just a little bit at a time so I can make sure that these slowly come up to heat. I don't want to break my jars. And then I'm going to put the cover on and I'm going to let it vent for 10 minutes and then I will bring it up to pressure and pressure can these for 75 minutes at 12 pounds. That is my altitude, is 12 pounds. Okay, here we go. All right, so I've vented for 10 minutes. I'm gonna put the weight on, just like that. I'm gonna bring it up to 12 pounds of pressure, and I'm going to pressure can this for 75 minutes when I get up to 12 pounds of pressure. That's when you start the timer. All right, let's get it up there. The pressure canner has completely come down off of pressure. You can see this little button's down. I can take this off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack it open like that. I'm going to let it sit for another 5 minutes, just letting it vent, just like that, before I pull anything out of there. This lets the jars cool so they don't get thermo-shocked with the cold air when they come out. Alright, so I've let them sit for 5 minutes. This also helps it from any fluid extracting from the jars. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out very carefully, because as you can see, they are still boiling and they are still hot. And I have 2 towels laid out on the countertop. Now I'm going to set these on the counter, make sure that there's no air conditioner blowing on these or anything. You want them to cool down for 24 hours before you touch them. And this is what they look like. Alright everyone, so it's the next day. These are all cooled, every one of them sealed. And you can see what they look like. It sort of looks like, you know, ugly chicken. But that's okay, because you know what? This shreds up just like it's been sitting in a crock pot all day long. And it tastes so good, let me tell you. So now what you do is you take the rings off, and you're going to take them over, and you're going to wash them really well and make sure you get any dirt off of the outside of the jar. You don't want to attract bugs while it's on the shelf, and this will help keep it from rusting or losing its seal. I always make sure it's nice and clean on the outside of the jars, and then I label and date the top of the jars and put it on the shelf. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all washed. So I just want to show you how I store my canned items once it's done. I use the original carton. There is no ring on it. These are washed, they're all clean, they're marked, they're dated. And if you cut right around the edge when you open the package up, you will still have the top. So then you can lay it down on top, and then no dust gets on top of the jars. And then you can stick it on the shelf. Make sure you don't stack them, because you don't want to stack your canning jars. But you can stick it on the shelf just like this, and it's all ready to go. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video and you learned how to cold pack pork and any other meat for that matter. It's the same method. It's very easy to do. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And happy canning, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.